Hello friends, today we are going to start our new topic, that is gravitational field and the motion of planets and satellites. In this lecture we will study about some basic concepts related to gravitation, like gravitational field around an object having some definite mass and the gravitational potential energy associated with two objects of certain mass separated by a certain distance. We will also study about the term gravitational potential associated with an object of mass m. After that, we will study about the motion of planet around the sun and some laws governing these motion, which are known as Kepler's law. In the last, we will study about the orbits of the planets or satellites and the escape velocity, which is required by an object of mass m to overcome the gravitational field of another object of mass capital M. So let's begin. Let us first talk about gravitational field. Gravitational field is a region of space around every mass or a group of mass which extends in all directions, but the intensity of the field decreases as the distance from the center increases. This field has intensity which varies as per the distance from the center of the body, and it has a definite direction at each and every point of the region of space around that mass, and this region is known as the gravitational field of this mass, but the intensity of this field decreases as the distance from the center increases, and the direction of this field is always directed towards the center of the mass at each and every point around the space of this mass, that is in the gravitational field of this mass. Now, whenever another object or a body enters in the gravitational field of other body, this field exerts a force on it, and the intensity of this force is defined as the force per unit mass of the object. That is, intensity of gravitational field is nothing but force per unit mass of the object which enters in the gravitational field. So, mass is the mass of the object. So, if this is a body of mass m having this gravitational field around it, so whenever another object having some definite mass enters in this gravitational field, then this field exerts a force on it which is directed towards the center of the bigger mass or the another mass, and the direction is always towards the center. So, if the object is at this place, the direction of force will be this one. If the object is at this place, then the direction will be this. That is always directed towards the center. And most of the time, the intensity of gravitational field is abbreviated as gravitational field only. But these two are different terms. That is intensity of gravitational field and gravitational field. Now, as soon as an object of mass m enters in the gravitational field of another body, it acquires some energy. And this energy is known as gravitational potential energy. So, the gravitational potential energy U of a body is the energy stored in it due to being at a particular location in the gravitational field of other body. And if the position of the particle changes on account of forces acting on it, then the change in its potential energy is just the amount of work done on the body by the force. So, for an object of mass m near or on the surface of Earth, work done by an external force, let us say this force, in lifting this particle from height h1 to h2 will be work done equals force times displacement. Now, if this object is lifted without an acceleration, that is, this external force is equal to this gravitational force of Earth, that is Fg, then the work done by this force will be equal to mg, which is the gravitational force of Earth, and the displacement will be h2 minus h1. So this will be the work done by the external force when the object is lifted without any acceleration, and this work done will be stored as the potential energy or the gravitational potential energy of this object. Now, if the object is initially at the surface of Earth, that is H1 equals 0. Then this work done will becomes equal to mgh2. Or if we denote this height as simply h, then this work done will be equal to mgh, which will be the gravitational potential energy of the object. So, for an object on the surface of Earth, when raised to an height h above the surface, the gravitational potential energy stored in it will be equal to mgh, where h is the height above the surface of Earth and m is the mass of the object and g is the acceleration due to gravity of the Earth. Now, mathematically, the gravitational potential energy associated with two particles of masses m1 and m2 separated by a distance r is given by u equals minus g m1 m2 upon r, where g is the universal gravitational constant and it has the value of g equals 6.673 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. This negative sign here indicates that the force between these two masses m1 and m2 is attractive. It also indicates that the work done by this gravitational force in moving these two particles separated by distance r is negative. Now, the unit of U is same as that of energy, that is joule. Let us understand this concept more clearly with the help of an example. An astronaut has a total mass of 110 kg. On the moon, he climbs into his spacecraft 5 meter up a ladder. His gravitational potential energy increases by 880 joule. What is the strength of gravity on the moon? Now, we know that the change in gravitational potential energy is nothing but the work done by the force, that is force times displacement. Now, it is given that the change in gravitational potential energy is 880 joule, which is equal to force on the moon, that is mass of the astronaut times the gravity of the moon into displacement, which is nothing but the change in height, which is equal to 5 meter. So this becomes 880 equals the mass of the astronaut, which is 110 kg, times gravity of the moon into 5. So solving this, we get the gravity of the moon equals 1.6 Newton per kg or 1.6 meter per second square. See, both Newton per kg and meter per second square are the unit of acceleration due to gravity. Now, let us proceed further and talk about gravitational potential, which is denoted by V. The gravitational potential V at a point is equal to the change in potential energy per unit mass as the mass is brought from reference point, that is the point where the gravitational potential energy is 0 to the given point in the gravitational field. So, the gravitational potential is nothing but the potential energy or the gravitational potential energy per unit mass, which is equal to minus g m upon r, where capital M is the mass of the object which is producing the gravitational field and r is the distance between the center of the two masses. Now, for an object near or on the surface of Earth, the r becomes radius of the Earth. So, the gravitational potential on or near the surface of Earth will be equal to minus g m upon re, where m is the mass of Earth and re is the radius of the Earth. Now, in this formula, g is constant, mass of the object is constant, and if we fix the r, that is the distance between the center of the two objects, then the gravitational potential will become also constant. That is, if this is the object creating the gravitational potential, then at a distance of r from the center of this object, the gravitational potential all over this sphere having a radius of r will be constant, and this sphere is known as equipotential surface, meaning that the potential all over this sphere is constant, having the value of minus gm upon r. In the same way, we can say that the gravitational potential on or near the surface of Earth is constant, having the value of minus gm upon re. Now, the gravitational potential at a point may also be defined as the work done per unit mass by an external agent in bringing a particle slowly from the reference point, that is where the gravitational potential energy is 0, to the given point in the gravitational field. So this is another definition of gravitational potential, and the SI unit of gravitational potential is joule per kg, which can be derived from this equation also. U is the gravitational potential energy having the unit joule, and m is the mass which is having the unit kg. So the unit of gravitational potential will become joule per kg. So these were some concepts related to the gravitation or the gravitational field of an object. Now we have studied that the planetary motion of all the planets around the sun is possible only due to the gravitational force of the sun, and the motion of satellite is also governed by the gravitational force of the parent planet. So let us talk about the motion of planets and satellites. The planets revolve around the sun in an elliptical orbit. The cause of the planetary motion is the gravitational force that sun exerts on them. The sun has a very strong and large gravitational field, and all planets are affected or influenced by this field, and the required centripetal force for the motion of the planets is provided by the gravitational force of the sun. Even the motion of satellites like moon of the earth in their circular orbit is possible due to the gravitational force of attraction of their parent planet. Now, the motion of planets is little bit complicated, but it was best described by Johannes Kepler. He derived 3 laws which govern the motion of planets, and those laws are known as Kepler's law. So let us talk about Kepler's law. The first law is the law of orbits, which states that all planets move in elliptical orbit with the sun situated at one of the foci of this ellipse. That is, all planets move in an elliptical orbit with the sun situated at either of its foci, either this one or this one, and the motion of the planet will be along this path. The second law is the law of areas, that is, the line that joins any planet to the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. And the third law is law of periods, that is, the square of the time period of revolution of the planet is proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis of the ellipse traced out by the planet. That is, if t is the time period and r is the semi-major axis of the ellipse, then the square of the time period of revolution is directly proportional to the cube of the semi-major axis. Now these were some concepts regarding the planetary motion of a planet or satellite. But there is one more concept related to the gravitational field of a planet or satellite, that is escape speed. The escape speed or escape velocity is defined as the minimum speed required by an object in order to overcome the gravitational influence of a massive body. So if this is the object of mass m which is under the gravitational field of another object or massive body which is having a mass m, then the escape velocity is the velocity or speed required by this object of mass m to overcome this gravitational field of this body. That is, the speed which is required to just overcome this field from here. And after just overcoming, this body will become unaffected by the gravitational influence of this massive body. That is, if the body reaches this point, then there is very negligible effect, or we can say no effect of the gravitational force between these two bodies. So the Fg between these two bodies will become nearly equal to 0. Now since the gravitational force between these two bodies becomes negligible or zero, the gravitational potential energy between these two objects will also become zero, because there will be no work done in moving these two objects by an external agent or force, because the potential energy is nothing but the work done by the force. If an object just become outside the gravitational field of this massive body, then the potential energy associated with these two bodies will become zero. Now let us do the calculation for escape speed for Earth. Let us consider an object of mass m be thrown with an initial velocity u from the surface of Earth. So its initial energy will be the sum of gravitational potential energy and kinetic energy due to the velocity u. So the total energy at the surface of Earth or at a distance r from the center of Earth will be equal to the gravitational potential energy plus kinetic energy, which is equal to gravitational potential energy equals minus g capital M. It is nothing but the mass of Earth, small m, which is the mass of the object, upon Re, which is the distance between the center of the object and the Earth, plus m u square by 2. This is the kinetic energy of the object when thrown with an initial velocity u. Now, if the object reaches infinity with a speed v, its total energy will be equal to E infinity equals m v square by 2. Here infinity means out of the gravitational field of the massive body. So the gravitational potential energy will become equal to 0. So the total energy at infinity will be just the kinetic energy of the object, which is mv square by 2. Now, according to the conservation of energy, the initial and final energy must be equal to each other. That is, E initial or E at the radius of Earth should be equal to E at infinity, which implies minus g m e m upon Re plus m u square by 2 should be equal to m v square by 2. Let us number this equation as equation 1. Now, the RHS of equation 1, that is this quantity, is a positive quantity with a minimum value equal to 0. So must be the LHS, that is minus g m e m upon Re plus mu square by 2 should be greater than equal to 0. Now, for the minimum value of u, this equation should be equal to 0, that is minus g m e m upon Re plus mu square by 2 should be equal to 0 for minimum value of u, that is initial velocity. Now, from this equation we get mu square by 2 should be equal to g m e m by Re, which implies u equals under root 2 g m e upon Re. Now, we know that g m e upon Re square is nothing but the acceleration due to gravity of Earth. So, if we multiply and divide this equation by Re, we get u equals under root 2g Re. So, this is the minimum velocity or the escape speed required by an object in order to overcome the gravitational field or the gravitational influence of Earth. Now, there are some important points. First, the escape speed depends on the acceleration due to gravity and the radius of the planet, and the escape speed is independent of the angle of projection, which means if this is the planet and this is the object and this is the gravitational field around the massive body of mass m. So whether this object is thrown in this direction or this direction with a speed which is equal to u escape, then this object will overcome this gravitational influence. This is why it is known as escape speed. Now we can calculate the escape speed for Earth by this formula u equals under root 2gr. Now for Earth, g equals 9.81 meter per second square, r equals 6.37 into 10 to the power 6 meter. Now putting these two values in this equation, we get the escape speed of Earth is equal to 11.2 meter per second. So this is the speed required by an object in order to overcome the gravitational field of Earth. So that's all for today's lecture. I hope you understood all the concepts. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.